In this video, we're going to look at slope. So the slope of a line is a ratio that tells us the steepness of the line. And it's defined as the vertical change in the line over the horizontal change, or more famously described as the rise over the run. So here we have an example of a line that goes from 1, 2 to 4, 3. So the rise, the vertical change, is positive 1. It goes up 1. And the horizontal change is 3. It goes over 3. So the slope of this line would be 1/3. Now for practical purposes, the rise could be positive or negative. But the run, if we're reading the line from left to right, the run will always be positive if you go from left to right. So you could have a positive slope that looks like this. It goes uphill from left to right. A negative slope if it goes downhill from left to right. If it's a flat line like this, it has a slope of 0. And if it's a vertical line, the slope is undefined. It's like a sheer rock wall. Parallel lines are always going to have the same slope, the same rate of change. And one thing you'll note is that perpendicular lines have slopes that are opposite reciprocals of one another. So if a line has a slope of 2/3, the line that is perpendicular to that line is going to have a slope of -3/2, -3/2. So perpendicular lines have slopes that are opposite reciprocals. And here's an example of two lines that are perpendicular, one with a slope of -3/2 and the other with a slope of 2/3. So now we're going to look at 3 different slope exercises on Khan Academy. The first is finding a slope from a line. So to do this, you definitely want to use a scratch pad. You want to zoom in close, and then you want to find 2 places where the line crosses on hash marks, right? Where it crosses on the crosshairs, these gray crosshairs. So here's one, here's another one. Any 2 that you find are going to work. Then draw a little triangle, and let's find the rise. That's going to go in the numerator. That's the vertical change, and here it's +2 for the rise. And then the run is how much it goes over left to right, and that is +1. So the slope of this line is 2/1, or just 2. We'll do one more. Here's a nice point right here where it crosses on a crosshair, and if I go down, it looks like here's another point. I already know the slope is negative because it's sloping down from left to right. So the rise here is -1. It's going down 1. And the run is also 1. So the slope of this line would be -1/1, or just -1. We can also find a slope if we're given 2 points. So we don't have a visual of the line, but we can still find the rise and the run. And here, the rise, since that's the vertical change, that's going to be the change. This little triangle symbol means change in the y coordinates. So let's match up these y coordinates. 1 and -4. Well, to go from 1 to -4, it's going down 5. And now if we look at the run, that's going to be the change in the x coordinates. And from -10 to 0, it's going up 10. So the slope is the rise over the run. That's -5/10, which simplifies to -1/2. All right. Next, we might see I'd be asked to find the slope from a table. Same thing. We're going to find the rise over the run. So the change in y here is -8. It's going down 8 each time. So that's going to be in the numerator. Here they're kind of trying to trick us because they put the x value on top. But the change in y, right, the rise is what always goes in the numerator. And for x, it's going up by 2 each time. So the change in x is 2. So this slope is -4. 8 divided by 2 is 4, and we have the negative.